Islam. The need for unity is so great that it's better to unite than to eat, sleep, drink, talk, or walk. This is the hour of deception. A house divided cannot stand. And for that cause, we're preparing ourselves to become one again with thy Father, God Allah. We must remember the mighty and great need for unity. We must remember the cause of our fall. And why is it so hard for this age to comprehend the resurrection of the dead? The Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. First off, I'd like to rise giving praise to Allah. And when I say I like to give praise to Allah and I like to rise to give praise to Allah, that means that I'm rising above the flesh. Because man is not the body nor the soul, he's a spirit and a part of Allah. So when we say we're rising out of the flesh to give praise to Allah, that means that we're leaving the flesh and going with mind into the land of fleshless things. So I like to give praise to Allah, and I like to give honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I like to give honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali because he bought me my nationality and my divine creed. I like to give honor to the forerunner to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I like to give honor to Marcus Mosiah Garvey because he paved the way for Drew Ali by telling us, up, up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. I like to give honor to our two flags, the flag of our origin and the flag of our birth, and honor to our charter that gives us the right to function in these United States and throughout the world without molestation or ridicule of any kind. I'd like to give honor to all literature pertaining to Islam in the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'd like to give honor to the leadership, our Grand Sheikhs, Sheikh Al-Nis Saunders Bey, and to all of those that have and will aid and assist us in this, our divine and gigantic mission, the uplifting of fallen humanity. At this time, I'd like to read from the book of the seven seals that's talked about in Revelations, that none was able to open and read from its sacred pages the messages of purity and love. See, every prophet that God has ever sent came with a book. We call it the Kitab, the Kitab, and that is the book. Noble Drew Ali brought us three things. He brought us the Kitab, the Huklam, and the Nuliwa. So what I want to do right now, I want to read from the book that Noble Drew Ali brought us. And I read on this wise. I read today from chapter 26, 36. And the title of this chapter is Know Thyself. And I read until I stop. Weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust. Would if thou raise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom, would if thou see omnipotence displayed before thee, contemplate thy frame. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy Creator with awe and rejoice before him with reverence. Wherefore of all creatures art thou only erect, but that thou shouldest behold his works. Wherefore art thou to behold, but that thou mayest admire them? Wherefore to admire, but that they mayest adore there in thy Creator? Wherefore is consciousness reposed on thee alone, and whence it is derived to thee? It is not in flesh to think, it is not in bones to reason. The lion knoweth not that the worm shall eat him, the ox perceiveth not that he is fed for slaughter. Something is added to thee unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay higher than all is the object of thy senses. Behold, what is it? The body remaineth perfect after it is fled. Therefore it is no part of it. It is immaterial, therefore it is eternal. It is free to act, Therefore, it is accountable for its actions. The meeting is officially open according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Indeed, it's an honor, a pleasure, moreover, a duty to be able to come before our listening audience to talk to you about the last prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Ali. But before I get into my subject matter of the chapter this evening, I want to give honor to three people. I want to give honor to Sheikh J. Wingate Bey, divine minister, national organizer. I'd like to give honor to Sheikh Omar Bey, chief mufti, divine minister, and teacher. I'd like to give honor to Brother Ronald Porter Eel, our karate instructor, a 10th Dan, a master, and those of whom he is teaching. Now, the chapter of this evening is Know Thyself. You know, all the time we hear people say, I know who I am, and I know who my forefathers were, and I'm a man, or I'm a woman, because I'm over 18. But when Noble Drew Ali in this chapter is telling us about know thyself, as you heard earlier, we all have two selves. We don't realize that we have two selves, but we have two selves. We have a higher self and we have a lower self. Our higher self is our godlike self. You know how when people always look to heaven, they always look up. And that's where they think they're going in heaven. But the books say Allah never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and make our own. So now heaven is a state of mind. If you live it according to the fruits of the Spirit, if you are living according to the Kalima Shahada, if you are living according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then you could claim to be a part of God. Now, if you live according to hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harm, you cannot refer to God as being your father, because your father is your lower self, and your lower self is your carnal self. It's your body of desires. It's a reflection of your higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. Now let me get into some science now, because a lot of us in my listening audience might don't know what the ether is. And the ether is a vibration. You know, you might go into a place and say, man, it's kind of messed up in here. You can cut it with a knife. That means that the ether is real dull. This flesh in which we come to each other is an ether, but it's a more dense ether. It's an ether that you can see. Now, there's an ether that you can't see, and the ether that you can't see is in your higher self. See, we fell to this earth, and when we fell to this earth, we fell not alone. That's why you see birds, bees, the flowers, and the trees. They fell with us. They was included in the fall. This is why when Noble Drew Ali came to the Moorish American Muslims in 1913, he brought us the Book of the Seven Seals. And when he brought us the Book of the Seven Seals, what did he tell us? He told us to honor Jesus. He told us to honor Muhammad. He told us to honor Buddha. He told us to honor Confucius. And he told us to honor all God's prophets. And why did he do this? He said, because we got to take these teachings to the four corners of the world, to all nations. And where's that at? Right here in America. Right here in America is where we have to take these teachings over to the East also. Let me explain why. In the United States, we have something that is known as the Great Melting Pot. And this Great Melting Pot deals with many different nationalities. Everybody in this government has a nationality except you and me. That's why Allah had to send Drew Ali. If I ask you who you are, you say I'm Negro. I ask you again who you are, you colored. I ask you again who you are, you say you black. I ask you again, you say you're Afro-American. I was just talking to the guy that's in charge of the sports cast here, and I was telling him today that when you begin to talk about Africa, Africa was named after Afro-Africanus and his brother, European explorers. So even before Africa was known as Africa, we had many other different names. Here in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we call it a Mexican. and each one of those alphabets have a different meaning to it. So now let's get into this great melting pot. Everybody have a nationality. You know, if I ask you what your nationality is, you say I'm German or I'm Dutch, I'm Portuguese or I'm French. If I see a Chinese, I ask him what is his nationality, he's going to tell me he's a Chinese. If he's living in America, he's going to tell me that he's a Chinese American. He said that there was a time when the people tried to call me yellow. So you are the yellow people. There was another people that they tried to call the red people. They said, hold it. Red is a good color, and yellow is a good color. But man is today what his forefathers were yesterday. And there's no one who is able to change man from the decent nature of his mother and father unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. Now you and me, we Negro, yeah, you're Negro. We color, yeah, we color. We black, yeah, we black. Whatever somebody give us, we accept it. And when you accept what somebody else gives you, you set yourself outside of the constitutional fold. Now I want to read something to you. I'm going to talk about two subject matters because the subject matters that I have this evening is because of Brother Bruce. Brother Bruce that comes on the air before me. One of his subject matters is voters' rights. And I want to read something that Noble Drew Ali told to the Moors in 1913. And he had to tell us this in 1913 because he told us about the great melting pot. And if he told us about the great melting pot, then he's telling us that we're part and parcel of this said government. So I want to read something that Noble Drew Ali gave the Moorish Americans in 1913. Now, Noble Drew Ali wasn't the first one to come, but Noble Drew Ali was the first one to come to bring us religion. Noble Drew Ali was the first to come to bring us nationality because you had the NAACP was here in 1919 before Noble Drew Ali came, but their religion was Christianity. I'm not saying anything wrong with Christianity, it's just not for me. Drew Ali told me to give the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was founded by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and our divine salvation. Now, we have a divine salvation. We don't just have an earthly salvation. And a person just have an earthly salvation is you take something from somebody, and you take it and claim it for your own. God don't like ugly. God don't like someone to steal. God don't like hatred. He don't like slander. He don't like lewdness. He don't like murder, theft, no, everything that harm. So if you stole something and claim it to be your own, it's only for your earthly salvation. Now, I say earthly salvation because when we pass form means when you die, from your perspective, and we're all laying in the casket, we'll say, man, I can do whatever I want to do on earth. I can do whatever I want to do on earth because once we die, we're all going to be laying in the casket, and that's not it. That's not all that's it. We think that once you pass form and lay in the casket, then it's all over. But that's where it's just starting at. Because this is not you. Man is not the body nor the soul. It is not in flesh you think. This ain't you. This is only her vehicle which carries your spirit. Now let me read this because it's important, and Brother Bruce is beautiful, and I want to talk about it after I read it. The title of this is Noble Drew Ali on the Ballot. And this is 1913, I'm telling you. Anytime a man or a woman fail or refuse to cast a sacred ballot at the polls, they separate themselves from all rights of an American citizen. Now let me just stop right here for a minute. He said all rights of American citizens. And we all think that we're American citizens. But we don't realize that if you don't proclaim your nationality, if you call yourself Negro, colored, and black, what you have is what is known as a granted privilege. See, every so many years you get this granted privilege. See, you don't really have a right that a citizen is bound to respect because you don't have a place that you can trace yourself back to. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. So now, when you call yourself Negro, colored, and black, a character go with that. A principle go with that. That's why if a Moorish